All right, is this working? Everything good? Webcam good? All right, welcome back to another Playing Win. It's been a minute, but hopefully we can have a good video. That doesn't really make sense, but here on this texture, he's gonna have a forex advantage, but you're gonna have like the overall range advantage on this board. I think you actually do have to incorporate checks, but versus play, you're gonna be betting more often. I think you bet more often when you don't have a heart here. Just yeah, you don't like getting floated as much, but I'm gonna call. When you have aces, it's usually the inverse, but because you want them to start floating you. All right, this spot, he's 3-betting the fish. We're just gonna go to 25, seems fair. Okay, so he raises, I don't know. I think 1/3 is the preferred size. He's gonna have a lot of air here when he check raises and checks. Could size up maybe if he's raising on 9x then, but I don't expect this guy to be doing that. I expect him to have some hands that might have hit a deuce. Gonna be calling off here. We got 8s. He's dead. No, we have one more run out. Sick. Gonna be calling here. And here, still gonna be continuing just a double check raise. On a river jam, I'll just fold. Damn, that sucks. And here, you just have to look at the player. If I scan his recent hands and I see a lot of bluffs, then I might call. But in general, this spot I just like to be on the nittier end. His line doesn't make any sense. In general, I'd say versus fish, double check raise here. You can maybe look into spewing versus the second 1/3, but I'm just gonna fold. In theory, does it have to call sometimes? I'd imagine you don't have enough 4x to hit MDF here. And 4x pocket 9s, pocket 10s, and pocket deuces, you just don't have enough of all these hands. So you'll have to call some hands like this. This is a spot where I would recommend just rolling, not versus fish. I would just recommend tossing your cards there unless you know they're whaley. Here you could get away with folding. He decides down here, so I am just gonna be calling. Also, that's my friend. I want to stack him. Here, big better check for him. Supposed to be, you actually need a decent check range on this board because we're gonna be flatting pairs upwards of even kings from this spot, I think. So naturally, you're just gonna need a checking range. People usually oversee bet that board texture, which is fine. I think it's played bad. I mean, my hand's never defending. I don't think any of the jack 10s would call here. Yeah. Obviously, I had the worst one. I think I had the no backdoor one. It does mix, but he sized down to 10 bigs. So. Here you can do either. I'll just get in with the 1/3 versus the fish. They over defend the big blind too much. Also, not to mention, our hand has good properties to bet with. I mean, we have double bad suit, since we don't block backdoor flush draw, we don't block front door flush draw, we block folds because we block the non-versions of those hands, like Jack 8 of both combos of, Anyway, but I'm just going to continue. Go for a half pot size. Target is 7x now. That doesn't have a heart. And versus the double call, I think I just go here. It's kind of appealing because obviously it's gonna have a lot of these 1 heart 7x, 1 heart 6x hands that folded river now. But in general, he's gonna have a lot of ace high that ace x that fish do not fold. So we're just gonna go for the check, and we just lose to king high. I guess he just the best player I've ever seen in my life. This reconnecting thing threw me off too. Gonna size down here. Encourage this guy to call, this guy to raise. I like just playing a small size here in general. Having position, if you're out of position multi-way, then you were UTG in this case, button flatted. I mean, I could see sizing up more because you're gonna be playing a drastic checking range, but they're in position. Oh, sorry, I said the reverse. On the button here, I could see the argument for sizing up. I'd say on the UTG, you want to stick to a small size. I don't know why I said it. I said it reversed. Because here you have the luxury of checking back your weaker Jack X and stuff like this. Just with the fish in the pot, I don't mind sizing down and encouraging people to do weird stuff, like raise. I'd say versus the big bet people. Okay, I guess, what I'm trying to say is this is some dynamic. When there's a fish in the pot, if I big bet, the reg is less likely to think I'm full of shit. Because it's you're versus a guy who's going to be naturally making mistakes, calling you too wide. Etc. So when you size down here in the spot, I think I'm just encouraging this guy to maybe this guy calls a small bet. This guy thinks I don't have anything. He just takes all of his bluff candidates, which he's gonna have a shit ton of. If he just So that was my logic on sizing down here. Hopefully we can keep some interesting stuff going for the video. I'll try and do the studying review in these videos. I'm sorry I was a bit behind. I'm gonna have to film a bunch because I'm going to Vegas at the end of the month. Sorry, I was just at my girlfriend's place and I forgot to bring my mic and my webcam, so I was unable to record. So I apologize for that. Then I had the Super Bowl. I'm a diehard 49ers fan, so that was pretty heartbreaking. I'm not gonna lie. Yeah, since I was a kid, I don't know. It's either no, I'm pretty sure it's 7 times, and I'm just forgetting a time because that we've been to the NFC Championship game at least, and we have no Super Bowls to show for it. Super Bowl 3 times. Pretty heartbreaking to keep losing this way, but yeah. And this I think mixes, but this guy under 4 bets. So yeah, that's actually more of a reason to probably call it, honestly, because it actually just doesn't want to call a 4 bet now. And just 4 bet the worst hands that you can happily fold. Ace jack offsuit. Stuff like this. He under 4 bets, but I still just stack off with ace queen offsuit versus him in that exact spot yesterday. So when I see this stuff on video, I have a tough time listening to my own exploits. Because I don't know. I can't be asked. That's probably the worst reasoning. I'll explain it in some spots, but I mean, I definitely play more exploitative because, I mean, if in every way of poker, even if you're playing GTO, you're exploiting. I mean, the whole bit of just not playing, like, yeah, I don't know. I mean, it does work for you if you just play a strategy that works. You will make money, but I don't know. I mean, it's just these people are no one in poker outside of maybe some people in the global pool I've never played, but it's that nuts. Also, I saw this one video by this Chai Squared guy who made like just a great point. He just basically explained it perfectly. I recommend. I think that's his name. You guys go watching that video if you want to know what I mean by you have to be exploiting. He basically summed it up so well in that video. But basically, like the issue with GTO, the natural issue with it is it implies that your opponent, not that he knows your hand or you're playing versus a computer, because you see that all the time, and it's like, okay, well, then you're not exploitable anyway. Like, you know what I'm saying? Well, then the logic is I'm still unexploitable, even though his strategy is different, his strategy is losing versus mine. That's true. But the one issue it actually has is it implies your opponent actually knows your strategy. In the sense of the second you change something, it implies that they instantly adjust. But in reality, you need to see thousands of hands versus a guy in those types of spots to actually know what he's doing. And the second he knows that you know what he's doing, he can just change his strategy back. So you can't really exploit him in real time. Like I recommend go watching the video. $8-7 here I think is actually close. On a 30, I'm gonna defend it because I'm greedy. You like playing these hands that are less dominated. For example, like ace-8 off here would be a fold. Here you can do either. I'm just gonna read into the small size here because I'm just not buying it. He's not supposed to play small size on this board. I like having the lower kicker. It's good. I mean, I'm not gonna have too many. Like ace-10 suited, I'm probably 3-betting. So like what, ace-7 suited, call preferred. But then you're unblocking. Actually, I'd probably rather. Yeah, ace-7 actually makes more sense as a call when I'm talking about. The reason why is usually if you have the combo draw blocker, for example, I have the blocker to. Oh shit. Depends on the spot, but I have the blocker here to, like, I unblock 10-7 of hearts here. I guess like I block 7-6 still, so ace-5 would be the nuts, but I'm blocking 10-7 of hearts here, for example, or something like this, which is like the open ender. 7-6 of hearts, obviously the 6 isn't good. When you unblock these types of hands, it's pretty good to raise. Because they're naturally going to be more weighted towards these, so you can sometimes just crush them. If you want to unblock, the more flush draws you unblock that are worse, that play that way, it's usually the better. Just gonna check this one down. And here we call flop, check turn. I don't know, I time mix so long, but we'll just bet. I mean, once you call flop here on this run out, I expect him to have a lot of jack X. Is the issue. But we need to bluff something, and I don't believe in checking 8 high here. Okay, so he just... I guess that's sometimes the issue is people don't tend to go too thin on these mono boards. So they actually end up having a really strong check back range. I'm not saying that's a pure bet on the turn, though. By any means. I still think 8-7 can't be a bad bluff. I'm playing 4 tables for you guys, so hopefully it's enjoyed. Yeah. Gonna put the studying portion in the video. Hopefully we can have some hands or some shit happens. I've been playing a lot of heads up recently. Running not too good, so I'm downswinging a little, but I have to get better, to be honest. I think I'm winning. Obviously everyone thinks they are, but for me, if I don't have a... I feel like I self-evaluate a lot in some of these spots, so when I'm playing versus an opponent, I'm not saying I'm always winning in some ways because I make some mistakes. Sometimes I get too into the leveling war. Anyway, I don't know what I'm rambling about. But yeah. Sucks I can't make heads up content because I would be more motivated to play it / study it. This is mostly almost a pure call. I will say this guy is likely going to under 4-bet, so you could 4-bet, start 3-betting hands like this and fold to 4-bet. Snap check's interesting. I mean, here we're going to go with the big bet. We dominate a lot of his weaker ace-X. Yeah. Could also play block, but I like sizing up here. We're going to be checking back that board a lot, so might as well just get max value. Like, I don't see the point in blocking because I don't like reopening it. Maybe it's okay. I don't mind doing that there. I don't mind splitting it either. Yeah. The thing is, his strategy is going to deviate so much from what the actual strategy is. It's like kind of dumb to run it in the solver. But if you guys are curious about what one strategy you would want to play in your pools, I recommend go looking at that. But even then, you should be population exploiting and those types of spots, just simply due to the fact that most people do not play the small blind correctly in your pool, guys' pool. And if you're playing super high stakes, I mean, you guys know how to operate what you want to do anyway. Okay, here it's kind of bad. We block 8-9. 8 of hearts can be extremely high frequency fold for him. 8-6 of hearts. So I think we're just gonna have to check this. He's gonna float some queen jack type hands. We're basically blocking all the folds, and when you block all the folds, it's pretty good to just give up. I mean, you could say versus a fish, maybe we just barrel. I mean, I don't mind the block now. He's gonna have all the pairs below a 7. How often does he check back a 10? He's gonna have some 8x himself, which we chop with. I don't expect the spot to get bluffed too often, so I'm just gonna go with the block. Here, this guy checks 2x pots on this texture. I mean, I'm just out of here. It's probably some exploit bullshit, but I'm just gonna start checking back trips more often if he starts playing like that. And not to mention, I'm pretty sure it's just a range bet himself. If he just keeps doing it, you can start calling him. Alright, so I'm gonna have like 1 or 2 hands of heads up here. I think this guy quits me. Gonna 3-bet this. It's like kind of close. There's a 4-bet. I don't mind folding this hand. This is, I think, close to a fold. Let's see if this guy hits me though. Oh, we're playing one more. I'll sit out on the next button. Okay, we got 3 tables for now. Should probably edit out a bunch in the middle. I'll continue with the 3 tables. This is the realistic grind. There were so many more tables before. What happened then? You can set this guy heads up, but you know what? Let's just go sit this 200. And I'll watch the lobbies on my other monitor. Gonna be 130 with range here. Oh, actually 20 is okay. Actually don't mind it. I gotta start playing 20% more often. It's preferred on a lot of boards. Mainly the boards where you split. Took him I'm so long to call here. It's just have the timing till. How long does it take you to call? I don't know. For me, there's just something like he took that long to call one big. It just seems like he's like, oh, versus one big, maybe I'm priced in. Versus 1/3, I would fold, but versus one big, I'll call. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, oh, you're taking that long. Is this a call now? But it's like, okay, well now I know you're like at the bottom of your range, and the board just paired, so you're chalked. Like you would have snapped with the deuce, you would have snapped with threes, you would have snapped with fours, you would have snapped with fives, you would have snapped with sixes. Maybe you were thinking about raising, you leveled me, but I don't believe you. Not to mention my hand's a great turn barrel anyway, so. Or it's okay, but it's just high frequency barreling that turn is pretty good. You can value bet ace high. Almost. Oh, 7's basically the nuts. Keep my range emergy and polarize to adjust the king plus on the river. Or, not really, but keep 2 sizes on the river probably. But like, generally like a very strong pair. On a 5 here, we could limp. This guy's super nitty, so I don't know if I like it, but I don't know how nitty he's going to be pre-flop. $15 seems fine. I think it's like 18 versus 5x and 14 versus 3. Don't expect him to have too much 5x's played. I think queens will jam on me, so I don't mind half pots. He's gonna have a lot of these pairs in between the queen and the 5. Probably want to have a checking range on this board. Well, don't mind checking this hand, but the guy's under bluffing, so don't like the idea of checking it. I'd rather just he raises queen jack suited, calls, and I stack him. For what it's worth, I like playing limping range on GGPoker. I don't really like playing it on stars. Main reason being on GG, 500, you have the bad beat jackpot. Any pot above 30 big blinds, they take 1 big blind of rake out of it. So for example, this pot, it's actually this is a big deal in your pre-flop sizing. When you 3-bet, or when you, or in this spot, the pot was 150, which is exactly 30 big blinds. I think it has to be over. And how much was raked? I can't check. Does it not tell me? 75, he called 75, blind fish blind. Pot's 150. I scooped 150. So is it not, wait, is it really not raked at all? Huh? Gonna be range checking here versus the flat though. He's gonna have a lot of pocket 5s, pocket 4s typed hands that we're just still ahead of. I don't like the idea of betting here. I mean, I think he just smashes this board so hard. I mean, yeah, maybe his 3s or deuces. He doesn't call those. 4s he calls, but we could also check raise to beat 4s. He never has 10-9. So if he has 5s, he could probably bet. Okay, he just has ace-7 suited and didn't 3-bet pre for some reason. I'm not saying it's not, but I don't know. Personally, this video is going to be a pain to edit, but I'll try and get multiple done for you guys right now once I get more games going. Hopefully I can get some 1K action going, but there's nothing going right now. But yeah, I've been slacking. I'm gonna get back on the grind. Let me know if you guys would like to see like a live. I don't know how I do it because I'm not, obviously you guys can see from my content, I'm not the best YouTuber, but in that way, high quality, I guess. But let me know if you guys want to see like a live poker vlog thing, so I could maybe talk about live poker. I'm no expert, but I do also, I'm confident that I could kill the games. I played them before and I'm so much better now. And I feel like almost everything is just still fish tendencies. It's just live poker now. So you can just, when you know enough about online poker, you can just tell how much they're deviating. You don't need to run sims or anything. I mean, sometimes it can give you perspective. You would never follow the sims, but it would give you perspective on like, wow, like I could in theory, be like this not tight from these positions, like opening not and opening nines pure under the gun plus whatever and stuff like this. The main way I will say where people actually whale out money live, and like the big difference is pre-flop. Like everyone's just too bored, so they just start making minus EV calls, which I kind of get. It's so easy to justify any call to being winning because of who's in the game. But in reality, it's just the easiest way to pump money ever. You're just bleeding it so hard. I mean, you need to, yeah, like everyone's like, oh, there's a fish in the game. If I hit 2-pair or straight, I'll just stack him. He still has to hit something. And then, no shit. I mean, if you hit 2-pair or straight, you're going to stack a fish. No matter how big of a fish the guy is. If he has something. I don't know. That's just my 2 cents. Because basically what happens is these pots are getting so big and everyone starts chasing this whale and he's just barreling. If they hit a pair, they feel like they're good, and then this guy actually has the aces or something. It's like, oh. Anyway, that's not even the reason. It's just how much you bleed out pre-flop. You're just making calls that don't realize that much money. You're calling 6 big blinds pre-flop to make like 7 ways. Like you're just never realizing that equity of 6 bigs, you know. But I also get like it's live, you gotta have fun. You also don't want to look like you're bad for the game. I get like there's the dynamic. Like I'm not saying you try and squeeze out every last drop of EV when you're playing live poker. I get the dynamic. You want to make it fun for everyone. You want to make it fun for the recreational. I totally get it. Like yeah, like I don't know. I was a bit of a degen when I played live in Vegas. If there's a big whale at the table, I'd start playing pots with him, not looking at my hand. We each look at one card and some bullshit like this. Just because the dynamic, obviously. So here I block this board, even though I prefer overbet or check. Kind of regretting it now. He checks. I mean, not having a club is good. We're ahead of hands. We kind of block folds, but at the same time, this is a good combo. We're just going to go with 17.5 here. And honestly, on an 8, on a 10, I think we're just all in. I'm trying to think what the best bluff is on not those cards, like this card. The issue now is we just block too many folds. I mean, we don't block that many. We block king 10 ourselves. He has king 10 that plays this way, like offsuit. Fuck, we have another table going. I don't know what's going on. I'm going to give this one up, though. I do think on a 19, it's close. Okay, so best bluffs here. Yeah, queen 9. For what it's worth, I don't mind folding turn with his hand. But maybe I might be overdoing it, so. He doesn't have a heart, so the 9 isn't terrible. Good call here with the recreational and the big. It's a call in theory, and I'm assuming keeping a recreational in the big probably makes it more profitable than it would be in a sim. But there's something to be said. Recreational big maybe is opening wider because this guy's in the big, so then the 3-bet becomes more profitable. It gets a little more complex than that. Kind of a bingo, but on a 95, no diamond. We're gonna, the key is if you look at this board, we're gonna have the jack of diamonds twice. I'm assuming we prefer to bet when we don't have the jack of diamonds here. Sometimes it's the inverse. You have more equity, put more money in the pot. Yeah. But honestly, maybe it's just like check jam. No. Just size up jam turn, I think. I mean, I could see jacks playing a small size here. I'm just gonna tank side big bet. I don't know. Probably a fish play. Actually, the more I think about it. You just block too much of the calling range when you have the jack of diamonds there. I mean, when you have jacks. He has queens. He's going to have king queen suited pure. He's going to have all the ace-x flush draws. Obviously, we're folding out these under pairs that are drawing dead, which is the main issue with big betting this. It's like the main hands you're getting equity from are like 9s, 8s, 7s, 6s, 5s. When they bingo. You know what I'm saying? You're basically keeping 10% of a hand to stack that you have like an auto stack on. Obviously, it has a diamond, has a little more equity versus you. Which is kind of why like you'd rather have the jack of diamonds, obviously. If you're going to slow play, because like those hands are drawing dead now. And you're unblocking the calling range. At least that's how I'm rationalizing in my head. There's something to be said about putting more money in the pot. You have better run out proof. I'm just going to fast play this. 8-9, 10-9. He's going to have 10-9, obviously calling. He's going to have like 7-9. Like Jack 10 he might call. And my hand has so many bad rivers. I'm just gonna fast play. Maybe it's not high FTB. I don't know. Kind of regretting that Jack's hand. I'm just so rusty. I've been studying so much heads up. It makes me rustier in 6-max. But the key is I'm trying to explain my thought process. And if you have a thought process, it makes it infinitely easier. Obviously, everyone has a thought process. But if you're really analyzing it and you do things off your opinion of that, it makes it way easier to realize when you're wrong. Due to the fact that it's just like, oh, so it prioritizes having the Jack of Diamonds because of X. And the trade-off of having these hands is not worth. You know what I'm saying? But I explained my thought process, right? Because likely I can see the reasoning is just you just block too much of the calling range with 2 jacks. But here versus this fish, I don't know. I'm going 10 bigs. Fuck this. If he calls, good play fish. I don't know. I'm just gonna toss it here. I don't know. Could call. But I feel like 2 pairs better on blockers. He's gonna have some bluffs with the ace 5. Might just play that way. So I don't really like the ace king maybe even. I'm blocking 2 pair. You might be going thin. So just having the jack. It's one of the worst hands we could have. Don't like turning into a bluff though. Don't really block anything. If you're gonna turn into a bluff, you probably want to block the super nuts there. Don't think you're raising a 10 too often. Depends on dynamic there. I'm recording 30 minutes, but I'm gonna have to cut out like 5 minutes of it, I imagine. Or I already did. Due to just finding another table and stuff. Here with the Queen of Hearts, it's gonna be like bad. I don't mind just attacking pretty aggressively. We have King of Spades, Queen of Hearts, no club. I'm blocking the Queen Jack, Queen 10, King, Queen of Hearts, all folding. If we big bet, like, even King 10, King, Queen of Hearts, I'm going to check it. He snap checks. I think this is an overbet turn shove spot. I mean, how many pairs are you realistically checking on this board? Maybe he just doesn't believe you. But at the same time, he still has to have a pair himself. How many pairs is he checking back? You can just spin it back on him. So, and when that river comes off, it's going to be a scary card. I don't mind the idea of leading here. But my opponent range bets most textures. You might check back this one because maybe he has a timing telling me. Gonna raise here. I mean, if you have 10-9 of spades, you can call. I don't see the point in calling this one. Or even 10-9 of diamonds. Trying to think here what the play is. I think on a spade you just shove. Check here. He's gonna jack X. We should be good here when he checks this though. Wow, he's just autopiloting. I mean, how do you check back 5? High there. I mean, I'm cooking him. I was gonna call, so maybe he's just a genius. I mean, can't really film him there. I guess I was gonna call, and he checked back, so maybe he just knew. Here, I think we can bet again for half pot. I mean, it's close. It's close. I kind of like it because we have a bad kicker. So if you're going to bet a 4x, it's going to be this one. I think under a 7. I could be wrong, but I think so. And he leads. Is it just a 7, man? What the fuck? Dude, how does he lead here? He would never lead us a bluff, but... Ugh. Okay, in theory, I think this is just a snap, because... This is just a bet fold. The issue with this is he's not... In theory, like, I don't know. Okay, here, I feel like I want to see what he has. I mean, we block... Actually, I'm just going to fold it. Am I exploitable if I'm doing that? Maybe, but... Here, I'd probably just fold to a jam, even though we actually have a pretty good combo to call a jam. Because we block pocket fives. Just don't expect Regs to find bluffs there. You would have to turn... What you would have to turn to a bluff here is just your worst king X, like king 9. Probably with the king of clubs. Or, sorry, the king of hearts. And blocking king 10. Alright, on to the first hand of the video. Or, no, this is the last. I'm just recording it first because I know for sure I'm going to review this because I was stuck playing heads up, so I have to end the video at the end of this recording. So if you guys don't want to watch the studying, feel free to click off the video now. But yeah, I figured I would put this. It's the easy way to end the video, so we'll review this hand, even though it's not the most interesting hand. I just figured it was an easy way to end the video. I got stuck playing heads up for too long. This is 98% flop, so we range. If you want to look, opponent likes to play a small raising range. You can see you're raising a good amount of the time here. You're raising the king 6, which is interesting. I think it's just because you're crushing a lot of your opponent's range, and the 6x is an irrelevant part of the calling range. So, turn, we're playing a lot of half pot, which makes sense because you want to bet these hands that are in between. And obviously you have your ace high bluffs. On the river here, it was opponent actually preferred half pot or check, or half pot or block, but I put it to 75 because it's we win a game. And you can see here, actually, you prefer just, what's it called? Just calling the 5-4. Because if you factor in the fact that your opponent's never playing a size bigger than this, then a lot of their range actually will just be like, he'll just have this, this, this. But I think in practice, I don't mind raising 5-4 because I think in reality, people tend to bet bigger when they have a flush, and then they're more likely to... They also would overcheck raise their flushes on the flop, and then they're more likely to just B75 their middling hands on this river, so I don't mind it. If you look at... We'll show what bluffs should be on the river. Here. The main bluffs are obviously just coming from these 2-pair combos, and yeah, you can see almost jam is borderline preferred here. As you can almost even mix call ace-queen, just because the boat is such a threat on this type of texture. If you were to raise and they were to reshove, just out of curiosity, first of all, the reshoves bluffs. I mean, a 7-6 could be in there. So the main reshove bluffs here, it's going to come from your 7-6 that you went thin for value from. The issue is most people don't find it. And it actually just, you're only calling... But you're calling these boats. Apparently 5-4, yeah, can mix flushes can mix folds. So yeah, just goes to show how tight the spot really is. So even for to jam here, I'm showing I'm mix calling even these boats, which is kind of crazy. So obviously 5 spades is not going to be calling them. But yeah. Anyway, thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.